Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
It is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. We're so glad you're starting your day with us.
We have quite a stack to get through today.
We really do. We're connecting some pretty big dots. We're talking rocket science, high finance, and the regulations trying to keep it all on the ground.
It's a heavy one for sure. We're basically looking at the architecture of a new world being built in real time.
We are. But before we get too philosophical, let's, look out the window. If you're here with us in Sacramento, don't let that patchy fog this morning fool you.
Right.
It is burning off as we speak. We're looking at sunny skies and a really pleasant high of 67 degrees today.
Yeah, perfect weather here. But for everyone tuning in from elsewhere, you'll probably want to keep the coats handy.
Oh, yeah.
It's still stubbornly cold across Florida and the southeast. The forecast says it should get a bit milder by tomorrow, though.
Okay, good. And if you're in the Central Appalachians or, say, the Ohio Valley, you're probably seeing some snow right now.
And we've got rain and thunderstorms rumbling all along the Gulf Coast. So, yeah, stay dry. Stay warm out there.
Absolutely. So let's do a quick pulse check on the markets before we jump in.
Let's do it. The Dow Jones had a pretty solid Monday. It closed up about 1.29%, sitting right around 49,400.
Okay.
And the S&P 500 also had a good day, up about 0.86%, closing near 69.76.
So traditional markets are happy. Crypto, though, a bit of a different story.
A different story is right.
Bitcoin is sliding again. It's down slightly for the day, less than 1%. But if you zoom out, it's been a rough week.
How rough?
It's down over 12% since last Tuesday, just hovering around $78,000.
Wow. Yeah, that volatility is back with a vengeance.
It really is. Now, speaking of energy, and we're going to talk a lot about energy in our first story, I have to mention what's literally fueling the show this morning. We have a new partner, and honestly, the timing is perfect because I was dragging myself in here today. It's Strong Coffee.
I actually had a cup before we started. It's surprisingly good for instant.
That's the thing. It's premium instant, but it doesn't have that instant taste. It tastes like a traditional brew. But here's the kicker.
Go on.
It is packed with 15 grams of protein, MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha.
And for anyone who doesn't know, MCTs are medium-chain triglycerides, basically healthy fats that your brain can use for immediate fuel, not for storage.
Exactly. It gives you this clean, sustained energy without any of the jitters. So if you want to upgrade your morning routine, head over to strongcoffeecompany.com.
And there's a deal, right?
Of course. Use the promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, for 20% off your entire purchase.
20% is solid.
It really is. Okay, you ready to get into the Morning Star?
Let's do it.
We have 3 stories today that, when you put them all together, they really paint a picture of where technology is trying to go.
And the friction it's hitting along the way.
Exactly. So let's jump into our first story. Elon Musk has officially merged SpaceX and xAI.
This is the big one. We've been hearing rumors for a while, but now it's confirmed. Musk sent a memo to staff. SpaceX is acquiring xAI.
And just so everyone is clear on the corporate family tree here, that includes the social platform X and the chatbot Grok, right?
Correct. The rocket company now officially owns the social media company and the AI company.
And he calls it creating a vertically integrated innovation engine?
That's the phrase. And financially, we're talking about a combined valuation that could hit $1.5 trillion with an IPO supposedly coming later this year.
Trillion with a T. That is just staggering. But help me understand the logic here. Why merge a rocket company with an AI company? It feels like merging a bakery with a shoe store.
It sounds odd, I know, but it makes sense once you look at the physics of it. In the memo, Musk makes this really specific argument.
Okay.
He says Earth-based power grids are just not going to be able to handle the energy needs of future AI.
Right, we've talked about this. Data centers are absolute power hogs.
Hogs is an understatement. They are threatening to destabilize entire grids. So Musk's argument is, if we want to scale AI to the level he envisions, what he calls a sentient sun, we can't do it on Earth.
So what's the solution?
Orbital data centers.
Orbital data centers. You mean like flying server farms.
That's essentially it. The vision is to launch up to 1 million satellites that act as these flying supercomputers.
1 million. That number seems excessively high.
It's massive. But the logic, and I'm quoting here, is space is called space for a reason. There's room. But more importantly, he said, it's always sunny in space.
Ah, okay, so the solar power angle. No night, no clouds, just constant energy.
Precisely. Near constant solar harvesting. But there's another huge advantage he's betting on, cooling.
Cooling.
On Earth, half the energy a data center uses is just for cooling the chips so they don't melt. Space is, cold. It's a natural heat sink.
So you get free power from the sun, free cooling from the vacuum of space, and then you just beam the data down.
That's the theory. It offloads that massive, massive electricity drain from Earth's grid.
Okay, I see the vision, but I have to play devil's advocate. Putting 1 million satellites into orbit isn't like delivering a pizza. The logistics seem impossible.
Well, that is exactly why the merger happened. To make this work, they need to launch millions of tons of equipment into orbit. So this turns SpaceX from just a rocket company into the logistics arm for xAI.
This is where Starship comes in then.
It has to be. The Falcon rockets are great, but they're way too small for this. Musk is talking about launches happening every hour.
Every hour.
Carrying 200 tons per flight. That's the target. It forces the development of Starship to accelerate because the demand is now coming from inside the house,
Okay, let's say they somehow pull this off. What does it mean for us down here on the ground, besides our power grid not crashing?
The main consumer benefit is connectivity. This whole constellation promises direct-to-mobile coverage everywhere. No more dead zones. But the bigger picture for Musk is financial. He claims the revenue from these orbital data centers is what will finally fund the moon bases and the cities on Mars.
So the AI chatbots are paying for the ticket to Mars.
That's the economic loop he's creating. It's no longer just a social media company or a rocket company. It's an attempt to build a civilization-level computing infrastructure off-planet.
Wow. It basically frames the entire AI revolution as the economic engine for space colonization.
Exactly. But, it relies on everything going right. And as we know in tech, things rarely go exactly to plan.
Which is a perfect segue to our second story. While Musk is literally looking at the stars, we need to come back down to Earth.
Right.
Because there was a lot of panic this week involving Nvidia, OpenAI, and a very, very large sum of money.
Yeah, the $100 billion misunderstanding. That's what people are calling it.
So set the stage. Why did the market freak out?
Well, rumors started flying that Nvidia was pulling back on a supposed $100 billion investment in OpenAI, or that the whole funding round was in trouble.
And in this market, when you hear trouble and Nvidia in the same sentence, people just panic sell.
Oh, absolutely. Because Nvidia and OpenAI are basically the load-bearing walls of this entire tech boom, right? If they start to crack, the whole roof comes down.
So what happened?
Nvidia's CEO, Jensen Huang, came out to clear the air. And essentially he said, everybody hold your horses. He clarified that there was never a single check for $100 billion just sitting on a desk.
So it wasn't a lump sum payment.
No, and that's the key thing to understand about how these mega deals work. Huang explained that the agreement is to invest up to that amount over time in different phases or tranches.
Kind of like a construction loan. You get the money as you hit certain milestones and build things out.
It's a very similar concept. You unlock the funding as you go.
Right.
He pushed back really hard on any rumors of tension, too. He called OpenAI consequential and confirmed Nvidia will likely make its largest investment ever in them.
Just not all on day one.
Exactly. And, even for a company like Nvidia, writing a check for $100 billion all at once is, well, it's aggressive.
A little risky, yeah.
And Sam Altman from OpenAI backed this up on X, saying they love working with Nvidia, but there was another player who stepped in to calm the waters.
Who was that?
Oracle.
Oracle. They usually stay in the background.
Yeah.
How are they involved in all this?
Oracle is kind of like the landlord in this situation. OpenAI has a $300 billion contract for compute capacity with them.
Wait, 300 billion? Is that the right number?
That's the number. OpenAI rents the servers, the actual physical chips and cloud infrastructure from Oracle. So Oracle issued a statement basically saying any drama between Nvidia and OpenAI has zero impact on them.
They just wanted investors to know, hey, don't worry, OpenAI can still pay its rent.
That's exactly what it was.
It's funny how fragile the market psychology is, though. One little rumor about a deal structure, and the entire industry just holds its breath.
It really shows that the market is nervous about how long this AI boom will last. They're looking for any crack in the foundation.
So what's the real-world impact of all this? Why should the average person care about how Nvidia structures its payments?
Stability. It's about stability. It reassures the tech world that the cash isn't drying up. It shows the infrastructure for AI, the chips, the cloud is still being built out aggressively.
So the AI tools that businesses are starting to rely on aren't just going to vanish overnight because of a funding issue.
Right. It's basically the adults in the room saying, calm down, the construction project is still on schedule, the money is there, it's just being deployed carefully.
Okay. So we've got these massive space ambitions in story 1. We've got huge financial maneuvering in story 2. But our third story takes a very serious turn.
It does.
We have to talk about the friction between these fast-moving technologies and the laws that are meant to protect us.
Right. While Musk is merging companies and Nvidia is signing deals, regulators over in Europe are stepping on the brakes hard.
What's happening?
The UK Information Commissioner's Office, the ICO, and the EU have both launched formal investigations into X and XAI regarding the Grok chatbot.
And this isn't just some paperwork issue. This is about real-world safety.
It is. The specific issue here is Grok's image generation tools, which were released late last year in 2025. Authorities are saying these tools have been used to create harmful sexualized content.
We're talking about deepfakes here.
Yes. Non-consensual deepfake images and very disturbingly deepfakes that involve minors.
That is terrifying. And we saw a huge wave of this flooding the platform back in December, didn't we?
We did, and now the regulators are finally acting. The UK ICO is investigating their data processing practices, and the EU is investigating under the Digital Service Act, the DSA.
Can you explain that, the DSA angle? What does that law actually require?
The DSA essentially says you can't just release a powerful tool and see what happens. You have to perform a risk assessment before you roll it out to the public. They want to know if X failed to assess and mitigate these risks proactively.
This feels like a direct clash of philosophies then. You have the move fast mentality from story 1, launch the rockets, build the AI, figure it out later.
And then in story 3, you have the don't break things reality. And the things being broken are people's lives and safety.
That's the core tension of our time, isn't it? Innovation versus safety. And it sounds like it's getting gritty.
Very. French prosecutors actually raided X's Paris offices recently as part of this whole thing.
A raid. Like police actually entering the building.
Yes. It signals that governments are really losing patience with that old ask for forgiveness, not permission model that tech has used for so long.
So for our listeners out there, especially parents, what does all this mean?
Well, it highlights that the dangers of generative AI are very real, and they're here now. It's a reminder to be so vigilant about online safety. But for tech users in general, this could lead to real changes.
Like what?
We might see stricter guardrails put on these tools, or maybe certain features just being disabled entirely in Europe and the UK.
And often, where Europe leads on tech regulation, the rest of the world eventually follows. It's that Brussels effect.
Exactly. These investigations could end up setting the global standards for how AI image tools are allowed to operate. It forces companies to build safety in from the start rather than trying to patch it later.
It's a heavy note to land on, but a really important one. We can't just look at the shiny new satellites. We have to look at the impact down here on the ground.
Absolutely. The technology is amazing, but the human cost always matters most.
Okay, we are going to wrap things up in just a moment. But before we do, I want to mention our second sponsor for today. If you're looking to step up your game on the golf course, you need to check out Scotty.
Scotty makes fantastic golf shoes. They're premium quality, incredibly comfortable, and honestly, they just look so much better than those traditional stiff golf shoes.
They really do. They have this great sneaker-like comfort, but still have all the grip you need on the course. And we've got a hookup for you, of course. Use the promo code SNARFUL, again, that's SNARFUL, at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase. You can find them at scony.com.
Definitely worth checking out.
So let's quickly recap the thread connecting all the dots today. It really feels like we're watching the 3 layers of a new civilization being built all at once.
It really does. First, you have the infrastructure layer, right? That's Musk trying to move the hardware to space to solve the energy crisis.
Right.
Then you have the financial layer. That's Nvidia and Oracle stabilizing the money and the foundation back here on Earth.
And finally, the governance layer. You've got regulators trying to ensure the software itself doesn't cause real harm to real people.
It's messy, it's unbelievably expensive, and it's all happening incredibly fast.
It certainly is. And here's the thought to leave you with today. If Musk actually succeeds in putting 1 million AI satellites in orbit, who governs that data? If the server is physically in international space, whose laws even apply?
That is the trillion-dollar question, isn't it? I don't think anyone has an answer for that yet.
Something to mull over as you start your Tuesday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.